Yo, what is going on, guys? Matt TV Haynes here, aka the Clockmaster. Right now, I am going to be reviewing for you The Great Wall. The Great Wall, starring Jason Bourne and that guy from Narcos, takes a break from their usual crime-fighting, drug-busting ways to time travel to ancient China and liberate Chinese from these weird alien dinosaur-looking, spitting in Big Mama's mouth, eating. It's pretty much the same story without the whole Jason Bourne thing. The movie stars Matt Damon, Pedro Pascal, Jiang Qiang, and William Dafoe. It was directed by Zhang Yimou. Totally the best at pronouncing names, by the way.
Why you always lying? Oh my god.
So what are my overall feelings on this movie, guys? I'm feeling that it was good. It wasn't great, no pun intended. It wasn't great to The Great Wall. It wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't necessarily a bad movie. And I saw another reviewer he was talking about this. It's kind of like one of those movies that you would watch with your family on the weekend, one of those Saturday movies. I heard he was mentioning that. That's pretty much what it is. One of those movies that you go watch with your Saturday movies. Like I said, it's not really a bad film, but it's not really a great one either. But one of the things I do like about this movie was that the film did not take too long to start, guys. The movie's roughly around an hour and 45 minutes, if I'm correct there, and it just pretty much gets straight to the point, guys. It just goes straight into the story, and it doesn't waste any time. There's no build-up story. There's no long, grueling backstory. Oh, I'm Matt Damon, and I will grow, and I'm this bad guy, and I'm not bad anymore. I don't know why I'm talking like that. He doesn't even talk like that in the movie. But the fact that there was no long, grueling backstories, that there's not really any room for any character development in this movie, which is okay. It works for what this needs to do, because I mean, it's not too different from what we, storylines that we are used to. For instance, a guy, he used to be a bad guy, and then now he's not so bad guy anymore, and he wants to do good, and blah 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 blah. It's not really that original of a story, so there's no need for any character development, really. It's not necessarily something you can pretty much just put the pieces together and kind of get an idea as to what this character is. They kind of do it in a way where both these characters, all the characters in this movie, you were able to just figure out, just identify with them in some type of way. So there's no need for all of that. Another thing that I enjoyed about this film was that it kept very focused on the core storyline, the core plot of the movie. It wasn't going all over the place where there was these separate side stories. Really, it was like one or two different side stories, but the main story, it was focused on that, and like, this is what's happening. We have these monsters here, we have to fight these monsters, and that's what we're doing here. We're not trying to do anything. We're not trying to build up another romance, which we'll talk about a little bit later. We're not trying to do this. We're not trying to do that. We are trying to fight this thing. You came to us. We want to defend this wall. We want to defend China. We want to defend China from these little monster, green-looking, ugly, alien-looking things that's trying to kill us. So that's what we're trying to do. So they keep focused on that, which is a good thing. Another thing to point out that was spectacular about this film was the set design and the costumes, guys. All these soldiers, from the time that the thing was on screen, it was massive. I went with my friend, and it was massive. Like, we were just watching this thing, and I just can't remember. I was just like, whoa, this thing is like spectacular. The amount of colors, and like every different soldier has different skill sets, different abilities, what they can do, and they're all dressed up in different types of uniforms. So one was in blue, the females were in blue, the archers were in red, and then they had these other people who was dressed up in this color, and then they all had different jobs. Some of them were archers, like I said. Some of them, the pole jumping ladies, they kind of like bungee jumped or kind of skydived down towards these alien looking green things and stabbed them and kind of came back up, which is not really a good method. It's not really a good method. I personally, like I said, I saw another reviewer was talking about this. I kind of agree with him. It wasn't really the best wasn't the best method of attack, but it worked for the film. All had their own different skill sets and abilities. It was really cool. I just loved how that, like I said, since everything was focused, it was focused on this great wall. So the wall wasn't really anything all over the place. Whatever CG thing they did or whatever set design they had to be for that wall was great, because it focused on, they spent a lot of time on developing that thing. And it wasn't, and look, I'm pretty sure it didn't cost them too much as it were if they had to go to separate locations. I can tell they were pretty much around maybe 2 or 3 different locations just to shoot this movie. I can guess that. I don't know that for fact, but you can just tell that everything was just centered and focused, and they spent a lot of time on this set, especially with the wall. It looked great. It was very believable in my opinion. And I just love, like I said, the colors and everything, how all these armed guards and these soldiers were dressed up in. It was great. One thing for me though is that I felt that the story for some reason was missing something. Not necessarily like I guess it's because it was a shorter film, but I felt as though it was missing something. I mean, like I said, the practical effects were good too. They had some CG stuff in there, and everyone is talking about this. Towards the end of the movie is a specific part at the end of the movie that you can literally tell it was CG, but I wouldn't say there was anything missing as far as the design of it and how it looks, because like I said, the practical effects were great, and there's a lot of stunts and things that were done by the cast members and things like that. So it was a very good thing with that, but I felt like the story, there was something missing. As to what exactly was missing, I don't know, but I just had that feeling. So one thing I would say that annoyed me about the whole concept of the film though was that you have 20 soldiers, all of them with these different skills. Let's say there's 20 soldiers, and then one of these monsters crawl onto the wall. They're all hiding from it, and here comes Matt Damon. Matt Damon just walks through, grabs a bow, grabs an arrow, shing, 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 dead, effortless. Him and his friend Tobar, Matt Damon plays William, and Pedro Pascal plays Tobar. And this is like, they just walked in and boom, we just killed this thing. We got 20 highly trained military agents here, the Chinese here, that could easily defeat this one big monster, right? There's so many times, literally, Matt Damon and his, I would say William and Tobar would have died in this thing, but all the extras and all the other people of the army, they died so easily, which is like, what? So that was just a little bit just this ridiculous to me at that point. I'm pretty sure there's strength in numbers, right? Even if there's like 20 people who can't fight for their life, 20 people against one person, the chances of them bringing that person down is pretty much there. It's not like if it's completely impossible. So that part, that kind of thing really did annoy me a little bit. It's like, you could have defeated this thing, but there comes Matt Damon, just done, story done. I'm the baddest dude around here. Yeah, I'm bad. Matt Damon, I'm bad. So with that said, bring on to the fighting, the action sequences were actually, like I said, were really good, and I was very interested in what was going on with this movie the entire time. I wasn't bored really. I wasn't bored with it. It had enough action to keep me wanting to watch more, and then they had enough story to keep me like, okay, we took a break from this, but let's get back to the action. I think the pacing was very good. It was even, and it wasn't like there was too much talking, too much dialogue, and then they save all the fighting for the end. No, there was a big opening fight scene in the beginning of the movie, and that started within 20 minutes or less. 20 minutes or less, actually. That started. Boom, straight into, it was actually way less than 20 minutes, man. Straight into that first action sequence, man, with all of these things running on the ground and trying to kill everyone and eat all these Tao-Te looking aliens, trying to eat everything. That started right away. So action sequences there, and like I said, right from there, they had enough story and the pacing was good enough to keep me interesting. So definitely worth looking into. The last and final thing I wanted to touch base upon was the relationships of the characters with each other in this movie. What I liked about it was that while they had the female lead, Jiang, I can't pronounce your name, her and Matt Damon interacted with each other a lot in this film, but their interaction with each other was more or less not of a romance, but more or less just a friendship, or just two people developing trust within each other, which is what they highlight in this film. Them developing trust with each other. So I like that aspect, because a lot of these films, whenever there's a female commander and there's a male commander, and they always have to make them have some type of romance with each other, and it's the same cliche ending. No, I like that they strictly kept it as them being friends, them trusting each other, and there was no kissing in this, which was great. There was no hugging, there was none of that, there was no looking at each other intimately. Like, there was none of that. I liked how just real this was, because if you meet somebody, chances are, like if I meet someone, chances are I'm not really gonna go and just kiss them like that. I may be attracted to them in some type of way, but I'm not necessarily gonna kiss them like that within this short space of time. It wasn't like 20 years have elapsed between these characters. It was literally like 2 weeks or the span of 1 week or 2 weeks where all of this was taking place. So it's not like if, you know, she had her standards and whatever she believed in, she stood up for that, and he was just there. He did what Matt Damon's character, and he did what he had to do. So I really liked, like I said, that the writers and the story screenwriters and the director and the producers, all of them, they decided to go that route and not make it this romancy, typical cliche ending thing. Unlike Xander Cage, where Xander Cage and his character, immediately, just because of tattoos, they just fell in love with each other, and boom, now we love each other. Like, no, none of that. Strictly just what it was. It was great, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Alright guys, with that being said, I give this movie a straight up B. I give it a high B because this movie was, honestly, it was a good movie. Like I said, despite the little minor cons and the little the controversies surrounding this film with Matt Damon leading a supposedly Chinese film. It is a Chinese director, a very well-known Chinese director. So it's kind of just Hollywood meets Chinese films kind of thing, and there's a lot of controversy with whitewashing, especially with this movie, and especially Ghost in the Shell. Oh my god, there was a straight up debate on my Ghost in the Shell reaction on my channel. Like, there's people just arguing for this is so much controversy around these types of films. But besides all of that, like I said, I think it's a decent story. I think the action sequences were good. I think the pacing was great, and overall, guys, the movie it was just one of those movies that you enjoy with your family or by yourself. You can watch this. It's appropriate. It had enough comedy in it to keep you entertained. There was a lot of comedy moments in here, and there was a lot of serious moments in here too. But overall, guys, it was a good film. I almost said great. Good film. Alright guys, if you enjoyed my review to The Great Wall, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, because I do a lot of reviews on this channel as well, so make sure you subscribe. Also leave your comments down below if you have seen The Great Wall, or if you're thinking about it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts. Alright guys, don't forget to ring the notification bell. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video, and I will see you in the next one. Clockmaster out.